Good morning, everybody. Here again on a Thursday. Gleaning from this morning's reading. Yes, I'm leaning over. I'm in a weird position because I'm not in my truck this morning. Honey, my wife, she's got to take my truck and go to Waco today. And so I'm actually in my daughter's car in a Toyota, and I don't have the same ability to set the camera. You like that? My whole hand motion there. Set the camera in a position on her dashboard like I could in my truck. And so, yeah, I'm having to like lean over like this. So I apologize if the scenery is a little off today. I'm in a Toyota. I don't know what this is. It's a girl's car. Not happy about it, but it's all good. We'll be all right. We will get through this. So anyway, right out of the bat this morning's gleaning from this morning's reading. This morning's devotion is PG-13. PG-13. So getting into a bit of an area this morning that maybe if you've got a little bit of younger audience, may not want to hear this. You adults tuned in right away. I can tell you that, though. So, for the sake of time, in Numbers, I read Numbers 22 through 26 today. And in the book of Numbers, chapter 25, the children of Israel are camped out just on the plains of Moab, just outside of Jericho. And we'll get the whole story of Jericho. Many of you know that story very well. And it's interesting. Let me try to get there real quick as I'm talking to you because I don't have it open. I'm running behind this morning, but we're going to get through this. This is really very good. Anybody who says the Bible's boring has never read it and does not understand it, because this is soap opera stuff this morning, okay? Numbers chapter 25, and in verse 1, it says, "And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods." Now, watch this. Watch this. In verse 3, this jumped out at me. "And Israel joined himself." That's what the Bible says. Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. See, I thought that was really interesting, because more oftentimes than not, Israel is referred to in the feminine sense, that she being, she did this, or a lot of times nations are referred to as she or her, or we are as Christians, we're the bride of Christ. We're referred to in a feminine sense. But in this particular passage, God says he, or Israel, joined himself unto Baal Peor and committed whoredoms. So I thought that was really interesting. And then it began to make sense. See, the children of Israel camped out there in the plains of Moab. And they're right up against the plains of Moab. I mean, this is where the Moabites are. And I imagine that day came when a few Moabite women came cruising down the hillside, and these girls come down, look at these Israeli boys, and I don't know, maybe they said, "Hey, baby, what's going on? What'd it do?" And the Israelite men went, "What's up, girl?" And they're good, godly men. They said, "Hey, you want to go to church with us? You want to go to the tabernacle with us?" And they're like, "Hey, what do you do at the tabernacle?" "Well, we sacrifice and make offerings to our God, Jehovah." And they're like, "Hey, that's cool." And the Moabite girls say, "Well, how would you like to come to church with us?" And the Israelite boys are like, "Well, what do you do at your church?" "Well, we worship Baal Peor." And here's what we do at our church. And they start whispering in their ear. And the eyes of the Israelite boys get real big, and they're like, oh, man, let's go to that church. And they started going to church with these Moabite women. And next thing you know, they're not worshiping God anymore. They're worshiping Baal Peor. It says PG-13 because here it comes. See, the worship of Baal Peor by the Moabite women consisted of nudity. The women would strip their clothes off and perform sexual acts at the foot of the idol, or at the foot of this idol, I guess, of Baal Peor. And suddenly the men of Israel began to flock to worship Baal Peor. Now, I've said all that to say this. Let me tell you something, guys. When it comes to worshiping God, it's not about what you see. It's not a fleshly worship. I've heard it said many times when it comes to going to church, well, church is just boring. Man, church wasn't meant to be fireworks and light shows and concerts, and it's not always feel good, you know. Church was not meant to appeal to your flesh. Church is about your relationship with God. Everything, all of these sacrifices, everything the children of Israel did, and everything the priests did, all of the sacrifices of lambs and goats and cattle, all of the ceremony, everything that was done was to bring them closer to God and to build that relationship with God. And in the New Testament, Jesus himself said that my house ought to be a house of prayer. Here's the thing. This is an extreme example of obviously what worship is not supposed to be. And obviously it was an idolatrous deity. Obviously there were other things going on there, but in its grossest form, that is not what church is supposed to be. And unfortunately today, many a church has turned into nothing more than entertainment centers and appealing to the flesh. But I would tell you this, you go through and read that story, a plague broke out. A plague broke out because of their immoral acts, and 24,000 people died. But I can't help but think that today we're dying spiritually. We're dying spiritually. We need good Bible doctrine, teaching, and preaching back in the pulpits of our churches. Be careful about looking at churches as to, well, I sure left church, I sure feel good. I'm leaving church feeling good. We need to leave church and leave worship centers growing, learning, getting something out of God's Word. Otherwise, we're going to wind up dead spiritually. It's just my thoughts this morning. Well, I'm getting a crick in my neck because I'm sitting here doing this, having to lean over into this camera. So I'm going to call it a Thursday. Get this day going. Hope everybody has a great day. I am co-pastor Mark Smith of Ambassador Baptist Church, Ennis, Texas, 2200 Ensign Road. And we'd love to see you and visit with you on Sunday. If you don't have a church that you regularly attend, we'd love for you to come try Ambassador. All right, that's it for now. I've got to drive this girly car to work. Maybe tomorrow we'll be back in the Ford. Maybe. I don't know. They've got some kind of garage sale thing going. Oh, garage sale. Okay. If you're in the Ennis-Ellis County area, our church is having a youth fundraiser garage sale. Okay, Friday, Saturday. Sorry, got a little gulp in my throat. Friday, Saturday at Ambassador Baptist Church, 2200 Ensign Road. Go check them out. You might find something you just can't live without. So I may be without my truck tomorrow, too. I may have to do this again. A little crick in my neck, but it's all good. Everybody have a great day. Good to see you. And we'll see you right here tomorrow morning on Gleanings from this morning's reading. Bye.